Oh, that's a clean tripod. Oh, that fell off. What are we waiting for? I'm just waiting. I really like in the truck. Okay. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Did y'all have like coffee? That was like the weakest salam I've heard, and with people that drink coffee. Come on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, raise your hand if you've never been to a Generation Jam event. Wow. Wow. MashaAllah. Who here is not a resident of Sugar Land, Texas? They are coming in from other cities. Raise your hand. Even our dear religious director, Imam Hassan Shah, is from Richmond. Keep your hands raised. The ones who are not coming from are coming outside of Sugar Land. Okay, a good crowd. MashaAllah, Allahumma barik. All right, so what Generation Jam is it's an open mic platform for people of all ages. Generally, it's like 18 to mid 30s and stuff, but all ages are welcome. And so, what does it consist of, right? I think nasheed, poetry, motivational speaking, art in motion, comedy, and if you have like a film that you want to present, you can present that film as long as it's appropriate for the masjid. And so, with that being said, we will be having our first performer or reciter, Omar Abdul Latif. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
A little bit about myself. My name is Omar Abdul Latif. I'm from Egypt. Came a long way from the woodlands, more specifically Conroe. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I'll be doing inshallah nasheed. So feel free to join in with me, okay? Inshallah. رقت عيناي شوقا ولطيبة ذرفت عشقا فأتيت إلى حبيبي فاهدأ يا قلب ورفقا صلي على محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله يا رسول الله قلب بالحق تعلق وبغار حراء تألق يبكي يسأل خالقه فأتاه الوحي فأشرق اقرأ اقرأ يا محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله يا رسول الله اللهم بارك وصلي وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلوا على الحبيب. قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل وجميل قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل قمرون قمر كل العباد وعم نوالوها كل العباد وعم نوالوها كل العباد حبيب الله يا خير البرايا قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل قمرون قمرون قمر سيدنا النبي قمرون وجميل 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 سيدنا النبي وجميل. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم.
Jazakallah khair for that wonderful performance. Our next performer will be Ihsan Joseph. Also, whoever's performing or wants to perform, Sadine, raise your hand or stand up. So everyone look at Sadine. If you're if you're wanting to perform, please talk to Sadine. And if you've already signed up, please check in with Sadine. We still have a few performers who haven't checked in. Thank you. So our next performer is Ihsan Joseph. And he's doing spoken word. He's a 20-year-old who traveled here from Michigan for this event. He is the author of Unspoken Words, a poetry book, which was self-published last year. He's new to performing poetry and is looking forward to sharing his work with everyone. Ihsan Joseph, you here? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So originally I wasn't going to perform this poem. I was going to do a piece for my book, but seeing the crowd, I wanted to perform a poem that I wrote for Eid, inshallah ta'ala. Bismillah. Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, You showed us what love is in the purest of notions. It comes in so many different shapes, forms, and emotions. Love is enduring through hardship to help one another. It's what causes you to cry for each other, like you and your companions at the grave of your mother, or dying yet crying, concern for your ummah and brothers. Love is your forehead on the floor before Fajr, talking to your Rabb, seeking his mercy and comfort. Love is standing through the night until your feet start to hurt, tears soaking your cheeks and your beard and your shirt. Love is forgiveness and rahmah for those who've caused you harm, not being vengeful or bitter, but keeping your calm. Love is interceding on our behalf so we may drink from your palm. It's asking us to make dua for you after the call of adhan, saying, Ati Muhammad al-wasilat wa faddila, despite your maqam. Love is knowing one wants to see your seal and slightly lowering your shirt. Such humility, unlike anyone who's walked the face of this earth. Love is traversing the levels of Jannah to reduce the number of times we pray. It's the fact that you could have asked for even less, but you felt too ashamed. Love is being in Jannah, but not asking to stay. Instead, coming back to this dunya to show us the way. Love is fighting battle after battle for the sake of Allah, and the Muslims still taking the time to make their salah. Love is Allah commanding Malak al-Maut to ask to take your soul. You wanting to meet Allah, so you say it's your time to go. May Allah make me among those who are one with your being, who step with your feet, who speak with your lips, who pray with your hands, who feel with your heart, who see with your eyes, who cry as you cried, and who think with your mind. Just give us a fraction of the iman to follow your actions, Habibullah. My words cannot fully capture your love. I've boiled water to compare that steam to the clouds up above. Not even that. I've exhaled to describe the clouds up above. I've sprinkled salt on the ground to describe the sea floor. I've opened a lid to describe the one who will open Jannah's doors. I've waved my hand to describe the wind when it blows, to describe the walking Quran. I've made such a poor poem. Whether this simple poet's words fall on your ears with my salam, only Allah knows. يا حبيب سلام عليك يا وحيد سلام عليك يا خاتم الأنبياء يا إمام الأولياء يا مجيب يا مجاب يا عالم اليقين والإيمان يا شافعي يا مشفع يا صديق يا مصطفى يا نبي التوبة يا نبي الرحمة يا حميد يا محمود يا أحمد يا رسول يا نبي يا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله قدره ومقدار العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakallah khair for that beautiful, beautiful spoken word poetry that you've performed. The topic of love, everyone can relate to it. And one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to perform as well. Sadie, is that cool if I perform? Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Bismillah. So, who here is Syrian? Raise your hand. One Syrian. Is there anyone else? Syrian, Syrian, yeah. Oh, he has Siri on his phone. Round of applause for our religious director for making that point. All right, so this poem I wrote back when Helping Hand, I believe it was Helping Hand that had this poetry event. I think it was UMR or MSA. It was one of those events where I decided to write a brand new poem in 2018. And after writing this poem, I kid you not, I felt like I wasn't gonna write a poem again because it's very emotional. When you're reciting it, you put yourself in the shoes of people in Syria that go through stuff like this every day. Back in 2018, especially. The title of this poem is My Heart Is Gone. They hear gunfire coming from the right and from the left. While we're too focused on the issues of the right and of the left, If I was to put myself in their shoes, I couldn't live through what I'd have to lose. I once was a beloved father until all of my daughters were slaughtered. The lifeless silence of my wife, she grasped a knife trying to end her life. Suddenly, deafening blast from the side. Left in a coma, my son and his newlywed bride. The beautiful face of my sister, now disfigured by burns and blisters, removed from the debris, the suddenly crippling of my brother. Cries of sadness and relief conflicted my mother. As I walked outside to get some aid, I see the mosque destroyed where me and my family prayed. I could no longer hold back my tears, seeing bodies of brutally murdered white helmet volunteers. I saw bloody children emotionless on the floor, dead babies thrown face first on the shore. These heartless oppressors paraded through the street, gazing at helpless women like as if they were meat. They forcefully pushed these women to the ground. I distracted those fiends with a rifle I found. They ran to grab their weapons within seconds. The women escaped. Allah made me their blessing. I hid behind a truck with my heart full of fright, asking myself, how will I escape their vision in daylight? Out of nowhere, my uncle yells, go, tackling them. I fled reluctantly in the midst of all this mayhem. My tense heart dropped with the sound of gunshot. Family is everything, a lesson he died with, like he taught. As I ran home, I could see my family seconds away. Yet the last missile dropped in between us halfway. I wanted us to live in peace. I wanted to tell them I love them, please. I'm just a needle width away from going insane. You tell me how one can deal with this pain. My family, my heart is gone. The words struggled to leave my mouth. Left with a bleeding heart, soon thereafter I passed out. I saw my family in the midst of lustrous trees, filled with jubilant ease. No more troubles to see in the realm of eternal peace. We are finally free. As I go to them for hugs, all excited, a voice echoed, Inshallah, we will be reunited. That's it. That was their reply. Life's not over, it's just a temporary goodbye. As I woke up with newly found strength, I felt my heart now revived. I now made it my duty to write poems on how the Syrians survived. Our Lord, in the Quran, it says, Our Lord, and admit to gardens of perpetual residence which you have promised them, and whoever was righteous amongst their fathers, their spouses, and their offspring. Indeed, it is you who has exalted in might the wise. But paradise will be brought close to the righteous and will no longer be distant. And in the Quran it states, this is what you were promised. This is for everyone who turned often to God and kept him in mind, who held the most gracious in awe, though he is unseen, who comes before him with a heart turned to him in devotion, so enter it in peace. This is the day of everlasting life. They will have all that they poem entirely. There was no chat GPT involved, right? This is back in the days when poems were original. All right. With our next performer, we will be having a bit of comedy. I've heard of this name before. Amani Yusuf. Are you Kamal's sister or cousin? Sister, mashallah mubarak. Do you remember me? No? Oh man. Yeah, we were kids. I went with her brother to elementary school. In fact, it's been 10 years since we graduated high school, and alhamdulillah, I hope to see Kamal soon, inshallah. All right, without further ado, Amani Yusuf with comedy.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Laugh.
You know how to read? Okay, that is all. Thank you.
Wait, really?
No, I'm kidding. So just to introduce myself, my name is Amani. I'm 24. I'm Palestinian, Islamic school survivor, actually here at Medium. And not only that, my mom was also the Quran teacher here. I'm also a public school teacher. Thank you. Actually, was because I quit today. Thank you. But I had some good times with them. And something about the school I was at, there was a very heavy Muslim population. I feel like about a third of my class was Muslim, and really maybe like a fourth of the school. So with Ramadan coming, lunch is part of a school day. So they decided to stick all the Muslims in one room, and I was the teacher that was with them. So, the first things first, with kids, you have to do an attention getter because they have a worse attention span than me, and mine lasts about 30 seconds. So one of my students named Muhammad, he was like, okay, I have an idea. Let's do takbir. And all the students said, takbir, right? And they kept saying it and getting louder and louder. Now, while they were doing this, I could just see my principal walking by, and I could see myself losing my job, just because they kept saying Allahu Akbar so loud. I was like, this is not the time or place. Yeah. Another thing, so I had to entertain these kids as well. And so sometimes I put them Ramadan music, like the one the first guy sang. And sometimes the kids were like, music in Ramadan, that's haram. So we're like, okay, let's do something else. So we started to watch ASMR of people eating McDonald's. Now that was kind of hard to explain when the non-Muslims walked in on us staring at someone into the microphone, slurping his drink, eating his burger, and we cannot even eat for like another 6 hours. That's a little bit weak, can y'all? So, along with ASMR, we'd also watch some movies. So I tried to pick the most Islamic Disney princess movie, Aladdin. And so, kids are observant. They saw Jasmine, and they were like, Astaghfirullah, where's her hijab? What are the Muslim girls doing today not wearing hijab? And I don't know if y'all know this about me. And so I pointed to myself what about me? And one of the kids goes, no, it's okay because you're American. I don't know if you haven't noticed, but a lot of the kids are going to be named Muhammad because almost every boy is named Muhammad. Raise your hand if you're here and your name's Muhammad. I'm sorry, Mo. Is there any Mo's here? Okay. Middle names count. Any middle names? So another thing they did was play some computer games. So there's one game called Scratch, and it's a coding game. And in that game, they try to make money. So it's like you're just pressing the thing and it makes it money. Well, there's ways to cheat the system, and so you code it and it glitches out so you can be making millions of dollars a second, right? So one of the girls, Yasmin, she was showing me how to hack, and she was about to buy a 12-car garage house with how much money she was making. I look over at Muhammad, and I was like, why do you only have $5,000? Why don't you hack? And he looks at me, he gives a side eye to Yasmin, and he says, I prefer to make my money the halal way. And speaking of halal and haram, one time I was showing a movie, and we were doing snacks, And in the snacks, I was making trail mix. And because there was a lot of Muslims in my class, I provided the halal marshmallows. We had that as an option, but we also had the haram marshmallows. So obviously, the kids got to choose which one they want, but like we made it clear we have the halal ones. And I see one of my Muslim girls, Suzanne, and she's trying to reach for the haram ones. I was like, no, we have halal ones. And she's like, my mom said it's okay. And I was like, let's try again. I held both. I was like, do you want the halal marshmallows or the haram ones? And she grabbed the haram ones and was like, my mom said I can have the haram ones. So I was like, okay, have fun on your honeymoon. But I told her, I was like, a lot of people have chosen the haram marshmallows. I know a guy, his name was Iblis. You heard it? I don't know if you know the story of Adam. It was not an apple. It was jet puffed marshmallows. Another thing about having my mom be a Quran teacher here is a lot of my students come here as well for their classes, mostly because I slide them my mom's business card on the first day of school. But during Ramadan, I was drinking water one day, and my mom that weekend tells me, Muhammad was telling me they're drinking water in class. I said, Muhammad's a snitch, number one. And that's just going back to when that kid who said it's okay, that it's not okay to lie and cheat, said that sometimes it is okay to lie in that situation. I know what that kid had to go and snitch to my mom about. I haven't laughed in a while. Like a little bit more effort. Another thing that happened was I have another student. This one's named Yusuf, actually. But we were talking about crushes, talking about haram and halal. And then he was telling me, he was like, Ms. Yusuf, or all the kids were telling him, like trying to tell him he has a crush on someone, and he's screaming. He's like, crushes are haram. He looked at me to back him up. He's like, right, Ms. Yusuf? I was like, I don't think so. As long as you have a crush and go straight to marriage, it's fine. His mouth dropped. He was like, no, crushes are haram. I'm telling my mom that you said that. And then his mom's gonna tell my mom. And like I said, only like a fourth or a third of the class is Muslim. I have some Jehovah's Witnesses in there. So one kid was asking me, I have a kid, Michael, and he was like, what is Islam? Like, I just want to be Muslim for a day. Can you tell me about it? I was like, okay, repeat after me. And he was actually really like serious because he was like, I also like how like you'll call everyone brother and sister. Like, what's that about? And I was like, don't you call people brother? Like brother? And he was like, oh yeah. So he kind of got it from that way. To bring it to an end, another thing about me is I'm from Palestine. And when I was in college, I was working at this school, and it was I was in the bilingual program, so it was all kids that spoke Spanish and Spanish origin. And so they didn't really know much about Palestine. Well, I thought one kid did his research one day because he came to me and he was like, I'm really sorry about what's happening in your country, like the war and all. And I looked at him, I was like, oh, what's happening in Palestine is not a war. And I don't know how many of y'all here are on TikTok. Oh, no, I don't know if this joke's gonna hit then. Well, there's like a funny video where it's a Pakistani graduation. I don't know if you've seen it, where that little boy's like, I will be pilot. Yeah, y'all know it. Okay. Well, I was telling this kid, like, oh no, there's not a war in Palestine. And I was trying to explain it, and he interrupts me, and he yells, I will sacrifice my life for Pakistan. Well, thank you for listening. And another thing, free Palestine.
Thank you, Amani. All right. So inshallah, in 10 minutes, we will do a break for Isha. But before then, we'll have one last performance. And after Isha, we will come back, inshallah, for the rest of the program. And with our next performer, we will have poetry once more. Rowan Ahmad, can you please come to the stage? Or the podium, I mean. Also, comedy isn't easy, guys. And performing isn't easy either. I used to shake when I was on stage. And now I can dance, although appropriately. Let's do the robot, right? It takes a long time. I remember it was in 2013, my last year in Mist. I had my piece of paper and I did my spoken word in a group of a lot of people were in the audience. It was auditorium, and I was scared. I was shaking with my paper, and now I'm here, and I can talk easily. I mean, yeah, there's still a bit of anxiety that still remains, but it's very minimal compared to what I had 10 years ago. And so, can we have our next performer? Wait, where's my? Oh. All right, Bismillah. Rowan Ahmad, can we have you on the podium? All right. We'll go for the next person. Maheen Junaid, are you here? Going once, going twice. All right, Maheen Junaid will be performing on the sheet for us, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maheen Junaid. I am 16 and I'm going to be performing a nasheed. رقت عيناي شوقا ولطيبة طرفة عشقا فأتيت إلى حبيبي فاحتت يا قلب ورفقا صلي على محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله يا رسول الله قلب بالحق تعلق وبغاره راع تعلق يبقي يسأل خالقه فأتاه الوحي فأشرق اقرأ اقرأ يا محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيبي يا نبي الله يا رسول الله جزاكم الله.
Bismillah. Thank you so much for your nasheed. Since we still have 5 more minutes, we will have another performer. Stick around though. After Isha, we will have a writer from Houston, Omar Farid Khan, performing. But before that, before Isha, we have one more performer. Noor Batla, can we please have you by the podium? Thank you, thank you. I know her brother, Zayn Batla. Shout out to Zayn Batla.
I'm short, guys. I'm sorry. think so. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Noor Batla, and sometimes I like to write poetry. And today I'm going to be reciting a poem I wrote about the struggle for Palestinian liberation. Some of you may or may not know this May actually marks the 75th year of the Israeli occupation of the Nakba, which is the catastrophe. And over 700,000 Palestinians were removed from their homes from 1947 to 1949. So, and you know, on the news and TikTok and social media, you see all of the bloodshed and violence and everything negative. But I wanted to remind you guys that every single step should be celebrated, because every single positive effort that the Palestinians make is just one more step towards liberation. So I think that should be celebrated. This poem is called Diamonds. It is the diamond anniversary of this brass key in my back pocket. 75 years have caused it to rust. 75 catastrophes caused by broken trust. How can I tell the world that the revolution is still ongoing if my communities are being blasted to ashes and dust? They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but how can I welcome into my arms the chance that the West would see me as another statistic? How can I be one for two states when three religions' birthplace is used for warfare for the blue suits who are sadistic? Diamonds are not a girl's best friend, especially not when the diamonds flexed in the West are stained with blood and tears from Sierra Leone, not when they remind us we were removed from our own home. I stand up against our diamond anniversary, as would our martyred lion, Ibrahim el-Nabulsi, as would the freedom fighters, Abdul Ghani and Islim, because they were awake contesting when other people could only find Palestine in their dreams. From Sheikh Jarrah to Jenin, the blue soldiers show their diamonds to the West, hoping to be seen, hoping to show progress, that they send us to the projects, and that a tragic accident happened to Shireen. I hope to see the day I celebrate diamonds. I want to cherish the sparkle and the royalty, but I want them to mean more than fame and prestige, so I'll wait until they're recognized as honor and loyalty. Because as soldiers destroy our olive trees, they let their diamonds bling with pride, villainize Jewish voices, and let Torah teachings get pushed aside. So I will cancel out the noises that their loud gems are making to fight and preserve my ancestral history. I'm going to spread the word and shout it, even if I have to run. I'll keep running until my feet are scarred and blistery. The diamond anniversary should really be for us. We had 75 years to collect our weapons and call allies. And yes, we had to say some goodbyes. But when the homeland is the prize, we can just say that we were preparing for 75 years. And only time stands in between us stepping out and facing our fears. I reclaim the diamond for us. We have earned the right to flaunt our treasure, or better yet, we are the diamonds because we emerge glimmering under pressure. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Noor, for that motivational talk. About okay, so Bismillah, we will be taking a break for Isha. In 5 minutes, we will be having the Isha prayer. Thank you. And remember to come back over here because we still have a few performers left. Thank you. Jazakumullah khair.
This is weird a little bit. This is better. we'll do something at the end, inshallah.
Are you from this?
Habibi.